This
And
conference will now be recorded.
so until now we have seen like how to consume a REST API with request body, and also how to consume a REST API having a URI parameters. Okay, now we will see how to consume a API with query parameters. Okay, I have developed and I have just given a mock API where it consumes a ID, where it consumes a query parameter, and it will display as the response. So let's see how this works. So this is the API. So this API, what does this do? This API will take an ID from our query parameter and it will mock the service of deleting. So I have kept delete because this is just a mocking. This is a sample service which will delete the records from the database which are having the ID equals to whatever the ID we are giving. Let's say I'm giving something like this. So this ID should be deleted from our database in general, but this is a mock service, so it will just simply display it like this. Success, delete mock service invoked with request query parameter ID equals to this one. Okay, so this we have to consume in our main application. We have to consume this API. So let's see how that goes. Let me create a new project. And this is, so we are invoking, that means we can become the client, or you can say we are doing subscribing. So here what are we doing? Here whatever there is, or this API is already published by some other person, let's say. So they have published this API, we are subscribing that one. So you can say URI mock sub. Okay, let's say. In this API, let's create a listener. So this will have a trigger point as listener. And this listener we will create, like we will give some body. It's the right one. I will give client, or this is our mock, right? So we will say client, because we are accepting, we are just invoking the API. We are not any subscribing it all. Okay, client, or we'll say instead of confusion, we'll say main API, and this one we'll have invoke. So with the help of this main API invoke, we will trigger our main application. Okay, and after this one, what we are going to do, we are going to consume that API. Yeah, so here I will say main API triggered with payload. Let's print the payload. What is the syntax for that? This one. Hope everyone remembers. Okay, after this one, let's take a use case, like we have to update a table based on this input. So let's just have a sample use case, that what is our first step? We have to update, we have to expose an API, which is our main API here, which takes body. Okay, request body with type JSON. And after this one, what do we do with this JSON body? We have to, let's say we have to update DB, and based on the DB result, let's say if at all I'm giving in the body my ID is 200. If at all this 200 is there, we are doing an update. So what happens if the 200 ID is not there? So that we will see today. If ID is updated, we will leave it. We will not do anything. We will just ignore it. If ID is not updated, that means if ID is not updated, that means we do not have that particular ID in this database. So what we have to do? We can simply Yeah, we can simply call our, so in this place we will do the reverse way. If at all the id is updated, we will delete that particular id with using our mock API. And if id is not updated, then we will ignore. Okay, and finally send the response. So this is our use case. So let's see how we will do. First of all, what we will do is we will update the database. And for that, we will create our connection as usual. Localhost and password. Test connection. I think it is taking time. Full. Okay. And we will update our EMP table. Like update EMP. Update. Let's see the names which we have given. I have it in downloads. Right. I'm just connecting to a local connection here. And let's see, I'll just do a select star from EMP. So EMP ID, EMP underscore name, EMP underscore status. I will set EMP underscore ID equals to whatever we are getting from our body. So here we will have a named parameter where EMP underscore status equals to our payload EMP status. So for this one, you all remember, right? We have to give the input parameters, whatever we are giving here. So this will be coming, we will be getting from our payload. So payload dot ID and EMP status equals to payload dot status. So now what is our main agenda is based on this output. So based on this update result, we have to keep a if else condition. So how to keep a if else condition? Here you will be seeing a choice component. So drag and drop this choice. What does this choice do is it will have in general programming languages or general conditional statements you will be using, right? If this one or else this one. So if else, so in MuleSoft we can use choice for if else conditions. So you can write your if condition in when. So before using that, let's see how to use this one. Okay, I'll just remove this one. Let's see what based on this output we have to keep the condition in choice. So what is this output? Let's see. After update, what will be our output? Let's keep it here. Save it, and my listener, it will be post my debug. And let's create our API. So this is post, and we have localhost until this one, localhost. And what did we give? Main API slash invoke, and this we are giving body. This will be JSON ID equal to 200, or let's say 5, and status equals to 8. Okay, with this we are going to trigger our flow. It is deployed. Let's trigger it. So it came here. It is printing ID status payload. So after this one, let's see update. So it is successful, and let's see the payload. It says affected rows is 6. So why it is affecting 6 rows? Because our status, whatever the status we are giving with A, in our table we have 6 records with A. Okay, so based on this affected rows, now I'm going to keep a choice component. Let's see how it goes. So I will say I will keep a
Can you
choice.
show in DB also, Kirti?
Okay, yeah. Here you are seeing, right?
Yeah.
Let's say here where emp status equal to A. So we have here 6
Okay.
records.
Okay.
That is why it is giving affected rows is 6. And whatever we have given in the ID 3555, it is updated here.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is why it is showing affected rows is 6. And now what should we do is, based on the affected rows, we have to redirect the flow. So how to do that? In the this one mule debugger, just you need to do copy this expression, payload dot affected rows. If you want to double check it in the mule evaluator. Evaluate. So 6. So now what I will keep is when. So this is we have to keep in a function way, because we are giving payload dot affected rows is, I will say, greater than 0. So if it is greater than 0 only, it will come into this block. So let's say for now I will keep a logger here. I will say affected rows is greater than 0. And now I will keep one more logger here, and I will say affected rows is 0. It means that status we do not have in the database. Means status is not there in DB. What does this mean? The status is present in DB. Status is present in DB. Okay, let's stop this and let's deploy it again to get these changes into effect. It is stuck. 1 minute. Okay, let's wait and debug. So since we have our affected row 6 this time, it will go to this flow. So from now on, if we keep a choice block here, our flow will continue after this. So in this flow, you can keep multiple things here. You can keep a logger, you can keep a transfer message, you can call another API here. We can do multiple things here. So this flow will go in this flow. And if at all the affected rows is less than 0 or equal to 0, so here we have kept greater than 0. If at all it is not true, it will come to the second flow, second block here. Any doubts here? So it will be the default one, and it will be the main condition where we are keeping. So this we will be using in day-to-day purpose, like in real-time projects, there will be multiple conditions to do. So in that way, we can keep our choice blocks. And also they will ask in the basic interview, the first level interview, they will ask you, so what do you do for conditional operations, or how do you redirect the flow when you have some conditions, logical conditions. So then you can say, you can keep the choice here. Now let's see, update. After update, we have our payload attribute affected rows is equal to 6, and it is coming here. Now it will, where it should go, it should go to here, this step. See, because the affected rows is greater than 0, it is coming here. Let's send it. Now let's do one more thing. Let's keep here in our database. Let's see what are all the status we have. So that will not give that status this time. And let's say it should be the affected row should be 0. SAA. We do not have any X, right? So let's keep X here. So when we keep X, our update in the payload will be coming affected rows equals to 0. So in this time, it should go to the default path. See, it came to default path. Everyone understood the main purpose of the choice, right?
Yes.
So now in our use case, let's say in our use case, you can say whenever the update is greater than 0, then only you have to go and use our API. So in that case, what you can do? You can keep our request here, HTTP request here, and you can keep an API call. So what you can keep here? So base path. So what is our mock service? So this is my mock service, this one. So here, this is my 8081. So this is my host. This will be 80. And what is my base path? This is my base path. That's all. No need to do anything here. Okay. And method, I have given this method as delete here. So I will give delete. It will come. And what is the path? This is a subpath. Very API. And now we have to give our URI parameters. So this accepts our URI parameters. So everyone remembers that URI parameters will have a key value pair with question mark. Whereas URI parameters, it will not have a key value pair and it will be having a slash. That's all. 100 status A with the name, something like this. Okay. So here what I have to do now, we have to keep our query parameters here. So what is our query parameter name? Here we have ID. And let's say what we have to pass this ID, we will pass it from or whatever payload we are getting from our this main API, our client API. So this has to be passed here. So for that, what we have to do on the last class we have seen. So how to preserve a payload when it is coming in the beginning and it is getting modified after any connector. So can anyone say how to preserve the payload?
Variable, right?
Yes, correct. We have to use a variable. So that is the main purpose of variable. So let's keep a variable emp data and what we are giving payload. So set limit set emp data. This emp data we will be using it here since our payload is modifying by this database connector. So here what we will give query parameters and the value will give vars dot emp data dot id. Okay, and after this one, whatever this API mock service response it will be giving our response as well. So let's see now. I think it is going to redeploy. Okay, And now instead of giving this one, I will say A only, because if I say X, it will go to this path. Our API will not be invoked. So that's why I'm giving A here, so that our 6 records will be coming, and after that we can invoke our API. Step by step, let's go. And here affected rows. Affected rows is 6. So it will go to the first path. And then let's see the variables also here. Whatever the variable we have declared, emp data dot id. So here this id we have to get in the response. See, 200 delete mock service invoked with request parameter id equals to 3555. So what did we just do now? We have redirected our, there are two important things. One important thing is we have redirected our entire flow with the help of choice. It means if and else. And if it coming to if path, we are going and invoking an API which consumes the body, which consumes the request in the headers with the help of query parameters. Any doubts so far? I assume there are no doubts. Let's go. So if at all you are clear with this one, so how to use this and all, let's go for the next topic, that is property file. So in Mule 4, we can, in Mule 3 as well, we can do a properties file. So what is property file and how to declare this one and how to use properties from this property file, let's see. Okay, so until now, whatever we are doing here, let's say here, I'm giving in the request. How we are configuring this one? We are configuring our host in hard coding way. Whatever we are doing, we are hard coding these values. In coming to real time projects, you should not be doing hard coding, because you are doing, let's say this is the URL we have given for dev instance, and for test instance, for UAT or SIT instance, for production instance, this host will be changing. So at that time, do we need to change our entire code again? Like if at all you want to change here in this, in place of Cloud Hub, you want to keep production dot something like this. So in this case, what you are trying to do, you will change the code. So you have to test it again, you have to deploy it again. So everything is there. So instead of that, we can retrieve this all values from a property file. So let's see how that goes. Let me stop it here. So in Mule, we can create two types of property files. One is using YAML files, and the other is property files. So both are similar only. Most probably everyone will use a YAML, and that is based on the requirements. So let's see here, where do we need to create the YAML file? We need to create in the SRC main resources. Here generally in Mule, it will be wherever we are creating the property files. So this will be in the resources only. No need to create in any other directories. Mule will consider, if at all we keep in resources folder, Mule will consider it as a property file. So let's create a file, new file. And what is my file name? I will give file dev.yaml. So this is my dev property file. And in this one, what I will do is, I will keep HTTP, I will say port equals to 80. And let's say, just for our purpose, username equals to dev user. And what are we using in this listener? Not listener, sorry, from our API this one. Let's give our host as well. Host, I'm giving all the values here. So you can give all the values which can be hard coded in this YAML file. So how to retrieve this one there, we will see. So here we have to retrieve this file. So before retrieving, we have to configure this file in our global elements. So this is our main flow, right? So here we will be seeing three tabs. One is for message flow. Whatever we are seeing in the console, it will be message flow. and global elements. Here, what is global elements tab means? Here, whatever the connectors you are dragging and dropping, it will be having a global element here. So whatever until now what we have dropped, we have kept a listener, we have kept a database, and we have kept a request, HTTP request. So there will be total 3: HTTP request, database, and HTTP listener. So whatever the connectors you are keeping, you are using in your message, those will be coming here. So if you want to add a property here, you can create, simply do a property. You can say configuration properties. And what is a file? So if what is the use of giving this dev.yaml file in resources is, you can simply write here dev.yaml. Mule will be configuring from this folder only, as this is a default folder for our Mule. Okay, if you just give dev.yaml. Now it will understand from where to get the properties. So what is the first step? To create the property file. What is the second step? To make understand the Mule USB, where to get the properties from. So we are giving dev.yaml while by creating the configuration properties here. And now we have to use the properties. How to use that properties? Go here, and instead of this one, we will say dollar. So this is the syntax: HTTP dot host. So let me show you what we have written, because it is under HTTP. HTTP host is under HTTP. So these are all the properties which come under HTTP. If you want, suppose if you want a property for database, you can create like this: database, or anything, whatever you like. Database 41521, username, system. So whatever. And how to access these properties? Database dot port, database dot username. So we are segregating our properties based on the usage. Okay. So now what do we want? HTTP dot port, HTTP dot host. So let's configure that one here. HTTP dot host, and here dollar HTTP dot port. Okay. And let's configure them in the same way for the database connection as well. I will say, instead of 1521, I will say dollar database dot port, and instead of user, I will say dollar database dot user. So these are the things. Oh, username. I have given the username, so we have to give the same name there. Database dot username. So now instead of hard coding, we are getting it from property file. Any doubts until so far? Okay. Let's see if now we are as now. Let's see what is this one. Couldn't deploy. Okay, it should not. Now we are getting our all our properties, all our configuration details from our property file. So this should execute as expected. Let's see how this goes. And what is the use of properties? I will tell you. So if at all in the future you don't want to use this dev.yaml file, you want to use production.yaml file. So how to use that one without changing the code, we will see. Failed. Let's see what is the problem. Couldn't find property value for database.port. Dev.yaml database.port. It is there, no? Database.port. ap.port. Okay, let's stop it. And whenever you are doing some changes in the main flow, if you save, it will be redeployed, right? But whenever you are doing some changes in property file and you save it, it won't get redeployed. You have to stop and you have to redeploy it again. Okay, debug, read. Why it is not reading? Couldn't find configuration property for database.port. Okay, let's see what is the problem. Let's try to first use the HTTP, then we can go for this one. We just refresh this one once. Refresh, then debug. There was a problem in build project.
YAML file.
Sorry? Hello?
In YAML declaration, we need to give any open braces, close braces like that, or not required?
No need of anything like that.
Okay.
All right. Again, it's failing. I don't see the problem. Let's see. Let me just give colon here. Sometimes it will accept in colon and sometimes it won't accept in colon. We just need to try it. and it is failing constantly. For database.port, why is it getting database.port again? We have removed it from database.port, right? There is no database at all here. Couldn't
Yeah,
find. Okay, we did not remove it from here. I will just simply say here 1521 and we have given it from here itself. I don't know what is the problem with that. Let me get back to you on this one. So I will also try in another way. Instead of giving it in YAML file, let's try it in property file. Let's create a property. So I will create a dev.property file. And here there will be like this. There are two differences here. In the YAML, you will be seeing in this way. And whereas coming to this one, you will see simply like this. AT and HTTP dot what did the other one? The name. Okay, I'll say username is dev user http dot host. Okay, this one. Let's try with the double quote and single quote and let's see. And we have to configure this one in our global elements. Let's see. Instead of giving YAML, now I'm giving my property file. Dev property. It should be properties. Sorry. Vector rename. Let's stop it and run it again. Okay, properties. It did not save while I was saving it. Let me just click properties, edit, just here dot properties. It is deployed. Let's see, it should work as expected. Update. Here we are getting some error. Let's see what is the error. Illegal character 80. Okay, it is coming as it is here. We don't need to give our in property file. No need to give this one. Just keep and debug. Deployed. Let's see now. Update. Going to this one and the response. Delete. So here we can see it is working even if we are giving from dev.property file. So let's see why it is not working in YAML file also. So if you are using dev.properties file, you understood, right, what we have to do. So there are two ways we can create a property file. As I've shown, one is .yaml file and .properties file. So there is a syntax difference here. In .properties file, we have to give in the similar way like this: HTTP port, HTTP.username, HTTP.host, something like this. Whereas coming to dev.yaml, I don't understand why it is not giving. Let's check once again. Sometimes indentation also will work strangely. We have to give indentation correctly. Now instead of giving it from property file, now we have seen it is working from .properties file. Let's give .yaml file only and let's check. Okay. Here I will, instead of going and giving it from properties file, I will give it from YAML. Stop it, and now also this should work. This is the main difference between YAML file and property file. Property file, we have to give each a property in this way: http.host, http.host. So if you want to give simply without any HTTP, you just want to give like password, something like this, you can give. No need to worry at all. But generally, we will give in this format. This is the naming convention. Why you are using property file? So that you have to mention, like we are using it in HTTP or you are using it in database, something like that. And coming to YAML also, it will be different. So under HTTP, all these are we are using. So no need to give HTTP again. I don't understand why this YAML is not working, but property file is working. YAML couldn't find for HTTP dot port. We have dot port. Property. So if there are any changes in this one, I have to see. Even if there are some changes in with respect to new updates, Mule 4 updates, we have to check and come back to you. So you understood the main how to declare and how to use, right? If you want to check on your own, go ahead and check on your own, like property file, how we can create and how you can use. Tomorrow I'll be getting back to you on YAML. Okay, any questions here?
Okay. The code should be 8081, right? Kirti, we are giving 80.
No, while
Not like that.
consuming, we are giving 80.
Okay.
So while listener, right, while our invoker, while this one will be our 8081, but while consuming our mock API, we will have 80 only. Here, 80.
Okay.
Yeah, we have given that in the same here in the dev.properties, and it is working because it is getting all the properties from this file. http.port, .username. We are not using .username as of now. I just kept it, and .host. This should work in this one also, but I have to see what are any recent Mule updates and if at all anything has changed. We have to see. I'll get back to you on this one tomorrow. But as of now, today you can start doing, if at all you are doing some hands-on practice, you can do this one with the help of properties file. Okay, any questions so far? Okay. Yeah, thank you then. Tomorrow we will see about this YAML and we will see how to secure this file, how to use this one and all. Okay.
Okay, Kirti. Thank you.
Thank you everyone. Have a good day.